This was meant to be the largest port in the Pacific, a massive hub capable of handling some of the world's largest container ships and dominating trade routes between Asia and the Americas. Investors and governments alike poured billions into the vision, promising an economic revolution for the host country. But despite the ambition, the project stalled, plagued by delays, funding shortfalls, and logistical hurdles. What was designed to transform global shipping into a streamlined, Peru-centered network became a cautionary tale of overreach, showing how even the most carefully planned megaprojects can falter when reality clashes with ambition. The port in question is the San Lorenzo Megaport, planned along Peru's Pacific coastline to serve as a central transshipment hub connecting the Americas and Asia. Its location was chosen for deep-water access, proximity to major shipping lanes, and the potential to alleviate congestion at other regional ports. The project aimed to create state-of-the-art infrastructure, including container terminals, logistics centers, and high-capacity cranes capable of handling supersized vessels. However, progress has been slow. Construction has been delayed and underfunded, with some sections only partially completed, and international investors have grown wary of the project's uncertain timeline. Globally, the stalled port has reshaped expectations for trade in the region, forcing shipping companies and neighboring countries to rethink logistics strategies and highlighting the risks inherent in attempting to dominate global trade with a single infrastructure project. The San Lorenzo Megaport was conceived as a mega infrastructure project capable of transforming Peru into a global logistics powerhouse. Planners envisioned a port capable of handling millions of containers annually, including the world's largest container ships, far surpassing the capacity of existing ports along the Pacific coast. The project included state-of-the-art container terminals, extensive warehousing facilities, advanced cargo handling cranes, and fully integrated logistics networks designed to move goods quickly to inland distribution centers. At its peak, it was projected to generate tens of thousands of direct and indirect jobs, stimulating local economies and attracting investment in adjacent industrial zones. The scale of the project was staggering. The port itself was planned to cover several hundred hectares, with dredged deep-water channels to accommodate vessels with a draft of over 18 meters, large enough for ultra-large container ships that are increasingly dominating global trade. Beyond the physical infrastructure, the vision included a high-tech logistics network, complete with automated container handling, rail connections to inland areas, and digital tracking systems to integrate the port into global supply chains. The ambition was to not only handle massive volumes of goods, but to do so efficiently, turning San Lorenzo into a critical node that could rival established Pacific ports such as Shanghai, Singapore, and the ports of the U.S. West Coast. This scale was intended to reshape regional trade patterns, reducing reliance on congested ports and creating a direct, high-capacity link between Asia and South America. It was a blueprint for dominance, promising economic growth for Peru while strengthening its influence in the Pacific shipping arena. Yet the vision, as bold as it was, depended on flawless execution, stable funding, and international cooperation, conditions that proved more difficult to secure than anyone had anticipated. The San Lorenzo Megaport was designed to be more than just a local infrastructure project. It was meant to reshape the geopolitics and economics of the Pacific trade network. Its location along Peru's western coastline was chosen to give the country a strategic foothold on key international shipping lanes connecting Asia, North America, and South America. By providing a modern, deep-water port capable of handling the largest container ships, San Lorenzo had the potential to divert a significant portion of trans-Pacific trade away from established ports like those in Chile, Panama, and the U.S. West Coast. For Peru, this would mean not only increased customs revenue, but also a long-term strategic position as a gateway for goods entering and leaving the Americas. Politically, the port was envisioned as a catalyst for regional influence. Peru could leverage its position to negotiate better trade agreements, attract foreign direct investment, and strengthen ties with Asian economies looking for efficient access to South American markets. Domestically, it was expected to transform local economies along the coast, creating industrial zones, logistics hubs, and urban centers to support the port's operations. The strategic reasoning was clear. By controlling a high-capacity port at a critical point in the Pacific, Peru could position itself as an indispensable link in global commerce, giving it both economic clout and political leverage in international trade discussions. However, the strategic importance of San Lorenzo also made the project vulnerable to external pressures. Competing ports and established trade networks resisted the idea of a new dominant hub, while fluctuations in global shipping patterns, trade wars, and regional economic instability created uncertainty about whether the port could realistically achieve its projected dominance. Despite these challenges, the port's strategic promise remained a central justification for the massive investment and ambition behind the project, highlighting both its potential and the high stakes of failure. Despite its grand vision, the San Lorenzo Megaport faced a series of obstacles that ultimately stalled its progress, turning a symbol of ambition into a cautionary tale. One of the most significant challenges was funding. The project relied heavily on a combination of government investment and foreign capital, but cost overruns, economic downturns, and shifting political priorities caused repeated delays. As expenses mounted into the billions, investor confidence wavered, slowing construction and creating uncertainty about the project's completion timeline. Political instability also played a role. Changes in government leadership led to shifting priorities, bureaucratic delays, and disputes over contracts, which further complicated the execution of the project. Corruption allegations and mismanagement in some phases of construction undermined public trust and contributed to a perception that the Megaport might never fulfill its original promises. Environmental and engineering hurdles added yet another layer of difficulty. The port required extensive dredging and land reclamation, which proved technically challenging and faced resistance from environmental groups concerned about coastal ecosystems, fisheries, and mangrove preservation. Navigational adjustments, sedimentation, and storm impacts required constant revisions to the original engineering plans, slowing construction and increasing costs. Finally, global trade dynamics shifted in ways that the port had not anticipated. Competition from established ports, changes in shipping routes, and fluctuations in global demand meant that the projected volume of containers passing through San Lorenzo was significantly lower than initial estimates. Together, these challenges turned a project intended to dominate Pacific trade into a struggling, partially completed infrastructure, highlighting how even the most ambitious megaprojects can falter when confronted with financial, political, technical, and environmental realities. The stalled San Lorenzo Megaport had repercussions both locally and globally, illustrating the wide-ranging consequences of megaproject failures. Locally, the most immediate impact was economic disappointment. Anticipated job creation during construction and operation fell short, leaving communities that had invested hope and resources in the project with fewer opportunities than promised. Surrounding towns and cities had expected new industrial zones, logistics hubs, and commercial growth tied to the port's operation, but delays and underperformance left infrastructure partially built and local economies underutilized. Investors and government agencies also faced financial losses, with billions of dollars sunk into a project that did not deliver the expected returns. Globally, the port's failure reshaped regional shipping expectations. International shipping companies had initially planned to route cargo through San Lorenzo to reduce congestion at other Pacific ports, but the delays forced them to maintain reliance on existing hubs, limiting Peru's role in trans-Pacific logistics. Neighboring countries, including Chile and Panama, avoided potential competition and benefited from the port's underperformance, while trade route diversification became more cautious as other emerging ports weighed the risks of overambitious infrastructure projects. Moreover, the San Lorenzo case became a cautionary example for megaproject planning worldwide. It highlighted the importance of financial stability, political continuity, and realistic engineering assessments, while also demonstrating how even strategically located, well-conceived projects can falter if external factors such as market shifts, environmental challenges, or governance issues are not managed. The ripple effects of this failure emphasize that megaprojects do not exist in isolation. They affect local livelihoods, national economies, and global trade networks simultaneously. The story of the San Lorenzo Megaport is a cautionary tale about ambition, scale, and the unpredictable nature of global megaprojects. What was meant to be a crown jewel of Pacific trade, a port capable of reshaping shipping patterns, creating jobs, and elevating Peru's economic standing, ended up stalled, underfunded, and incomplete. It shows how even the most strategically located and meticulously planned projects can be undermined by financial shortfalls, political shifts, environmental challenges, and changing global markets. Yet the lessons of San Lorenzo extend beyond Peru. For countries and investors worldwide, it underscores the importance of realistic planning, resilient financing, and flexible adaptation to external pressures. Could the port have succeeded under different conditions? Possibly, but its story serves as a reminder that megaprojects carry enormous risk alongside their promise. They have the power to transform economies, regions, and trade networks, but they can also falter spectacularly, leaving lessons for the next generation of planners, engineers, and policymakers. The San Lorenzo Megaport may not have ruled the Pacific as intended, but its legacy provides a blueprint for understanding the fine line between ambition and reality in global infrastructure.